A very good evening and a warm welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight on this 21st day of October 2022. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. In our headlines tonight, government gives Papa Paul Sunday Emolota go-ahead to be installed as the new Emor Papa Iteso. 6 officials charged with causing over 300 million shillings financial loss to government. Court sentences A1 Narwada Amina to 1-year prison of examination malpractice. And in sports, Qatar estimated to earn 17 billion from the 2022 World Cup. Good evening once again and welcome to UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto. Now we start off with this newscast. President Yoweri Museveni has commissioned the Day Biopharma multi-billion vaccine manufacturing plant in Chigogwa in Wakiso district. Now the facility under the Day group is expected to manufacture the biological drugs and vaccines and make them readily available in the country. Now we will be bringing you this story through this newscast. Now, the Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, has expressed optimism in the fight against the current Ebola virus disease outbreak. The minister, however, encourages the public to stick to observing preventative measures as the fight continues.
Cumulative confirmed cases are still majorly from the district of Mubende and Kasanda. The other districts that we are involved,
are you for real?
Kagadi and Bunyangabo, many of our contacts there have completed their 21 days follow-up and have been discharged from follow-up. But that does not mean that we have discharged the districts, because we have another 21 days to count to make a cycle of 42 days. So we still have surveillance officers stationed there to follow up those districts. Yes, we have had contacts of positive cases and positive cases that have passed through Mityana district, because it is one of the high-risk districts that are bordering Mubende. But to date, we don't have a confirmed case in Mityana. Mityana remains under surveillance and strict observation. Yesterday, we only had one confirmed case that was from Madudu, a sub-county in Mubende. There is good progress in controlling this particular Ebola epidemic, and we are happy that the restricted movements from the epicenters, both districts of Mubende and Kasanda, are giving us a green light, because we no longer have spreading and seeding of infection going out of these districts. So we have intensified our activities in these districts in terms of risk communication, sensitizing the public, intense contact tracing and surveillance, and we do hope that by the end of the 21 days we will have made good progress towards containment of the epidemic.
The National Population Council has been advised to establish a think tank through building a strong pool of experts in health, education, engineering and environmental sectors with capacity to copy what is done in developed countries and incorporate them in the local setting, while launching activities for the Day of 8 billion people in the world to be commemorated on the 15th of November. State Minister for Finance in charge of planning, Amos Lugolobi, expressed the need to intensify efforts towards harnessing the demographic dividend.
The global population is projected to reach 8 billion on 15th November this year, at the time when Uganda's population is at 44.2 million people and growing at a rate of 3% annually. Every after 10 years, the world population increases by 1 billion people, which comes with both positive and negative implications if not properly harnessed. Investing in infrastructure like construction of transnational roads and rehabilitation of the standard gauge railway will help create market for Uganda's population, hence taking advantage of the Africa Free Trade Area.
Also, we are finalizing plans for constructing the standard gauge rail line that is going to be connecting us from all the way from Malaba up to Kasese, and therefore that means that we shall be very close to Mpondwe in order to enhance trade between ourselves and the Democratic Republic of Congo in the supermarket of the rest of the other continents. So it is time now we wake up and say that what we have hitherto been importing from other continents, we can start manufacturing ourselves.
The need to also create a pool of think tanks is emphasized in harnessing the demographic dividend.
Think tank is going to be a pool of human resources, experts in their various disciplines, engineers, economists, sociologists, to try and think about the population issues.
76% of Uganda's population are young people between 0 to 22 years, which is a challenge to economic social development if it is not taken care of. Therefore, government has put universal primary and secondary education to ensure education for all, formal and non-formal training for vocational education and youth livelihood programs. The high fertility rate and childbearing has a huge burden on the population, hence the need to invest in the girl child in order to lower the fertility issue, since the world is moving from numbers to quality.
We have not examined the education that we are giving our young people in terms of critical thinking, in terms of skills. Uganda alone, the government is spending annually about 284 million shillings on the pregnant girl for her health care and for her child. So imagine if we could prevent adolescent pregnancy, we would see some economic growth. And so that means really ensuring that young people have access to sexuality education, life.
As the world prepares to commemorate 8 billion population, a number of milestones in improving the quality of life of Ugandans have been achieved, such as decreasing infant mortality and the progress in maternal mortality.
Uganda has also been able to improve on its life expectancy. Ugandans are living longer. In 1991, Ugandans were living on average for 43 years. But now we know, as of 2016, this has gone up to 63 years on average. This is unprecedented because Uganda has managed to add 20 years to its life expectancy in one generation.
In Uganda, the 8 billion population day will be marked at health centers to assess the number of new infants born on this day. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.
Naweru Chief Magistrates Court has sentenced one Nalwada Amina to 1 year in prison or to pay a fine of 4.5 million in cash after pleading guilty to charges of examination malpractice. However, the head teacher of Kawempe Standard Secondary School, Moses Hamali, who pleaded not guilty to the offence, was granted a non-cash bail of 5 million Uganda shillings. Now, the matter was presided over by Magistrate Sanyu Mukasa. We have the details.
Okay. At 1:30 p.m., Amali Moses, the head teacher of Kawempe Standard Secondary School, and Narwada Amine, parent at the same school, were read at Naweru Grade 1 Magistrates Court for pre-taking over the charges against them. Before Magistrate Sanyu Mukasa Court charged them with 1 count of examination malpractice. Narwada Amina, a parent at the same school, after listening to the charges, pleaded guilty to the said offences and was consequently sentenced to 1 year imprisonment or pay fine of 4.5 million cash.
However, this is a rampant offence, puts the whole country's education system and its credibility at risk, so she must be deterred.
Kote bwadde kibonerezo ky'okusasula fayini ya miliyoni 4 n'emitwalo 8 bw'oba tokoze ekitasasudde ssente ezo za fayini ojja genda mu kkomera.
However, Hamali Moses, the head teacher of Kawempe Standard Secondary School, who pleaded not guilty to the offences, was released on a non-cash bail of 5 million. Uganda National Examination Board was represented by lawyer Kamari Anna.
The other ones are juveniles, so they are the ones who engaged in the actual impersonation. But as a board, there is need to focus on these adults who are perpetuating the whole exercise. You can see that in the absence of an adult, these children would not have engaged in malpractice. There is money changing hands. The aunt is going to pay this boy. The public has to know that the UNEB Act 2021 is out to bite. We are sending a very strong message that whoever engages in malpractice in whatever form is going to be prosecuted under this act.
Jennifer Kasude, the UNEB spokesperson, says since this year's UNEB started, they have registered a number of cases in line with the examination malpractice.
These are like 3 cases of impersonation in just 1 week. And then 1 case of collusion, that was the one in Kamuli, where the candidates were colliding to be discussing a paper when it was going on. The teachers out there, don't get involved in this kind of malpractice. Don't aid malpractice. Don't aid the learner. Let them be able to get their own marks. Let them appreciate that they've actually been able to attain some competencies and learn on their own. So I want to caution anybody out there, you are caught in a malpractice, you will actually be apprehended in the courts of law.
Prosecution alleges that on 17th October 2022, Hamali Moses, the teacher of Kawempe Standard Secondary School, collaborated with Narada Ami, another aunt to Namuongo Huda, and others still at large, to pay 350,000 Ugandan shillings to Bagenda Emmanuel to sit for Namuongo Huda in the exams. Court set 7th November 2022 for hearing of the case against Hamali Moses. Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabugudde, UBC News.
The Anti-Corruption Court has charged 5 government officials with 2 counts of causing financial loss to government of over 300 million shillings by paying it to 3 people as gratuity. They pleaded not guilty to the alleged offences, and court later granted them bail after presenting substantial sureties.
The 5 government officials in the case of causing financial loss to government include Freddie Mukasa Kizito, the Cow, Namutumba District; Emmanuel Ogwao, Deputy Cow, Nebe District; Godfrey Mutomi, Cow, Kaliro District; Elizabeth Namugoro District Accountant, Kaliro District; and John Wambweri, Senior Accountant at the Ministry of Finance. Before Magistrate Joan Asio at the Anti-Corruption Court in Kololo, they were charged with 2 counts of causing financial loss of 300 million to the government.
Between 1st November 2020 and 30th November 2020 in Kaliro District, and made fictitious gratuity payment amounting to 45,021,589 shillings to Henry in North Korea, knowing or having reason to believe that their actions would cause financial loss to the government.
They pleaded not guilty to the alleged offences. Prosecution led by Mawano Sennoga informed the court that investigations in the matter are complete, thus praying to court to set the date for mention of the matter.
Every month, so we can disclose.
The accused persons, through their lawyers, applied for bail by presenting sureties and citing health illnesses among other grounds.
We take cognizance to the fact that yes, 300 million is some money, but we also want court to know that this is really not punishment. At this stage, the accused persons, but they are presumed innocent.
We pray that court finds the sureties presented by A2 substantial and grants him bail on terms that are favorable to him.
Although prosecution did not object to their bail application, court was requested to slap the accused with stringent bail terms. Magistrate Joan Asiro, on releasing the accused, had presented substantial sureties, granting them bail.
F3, F4, and F5 will make a cash deposit of 10 million shillings, that is each person. A2 and A6 will make a cash deposit of 6 million shillings, that is each.
Court resumed on 22nd November 2022. Formation of the case. Prosecution alleges that Robert Mulondo, Kaumubende District Local Government, who was absent in court, and 5 other accused being government officials, allegedly paid 300 million to Emmanuel Ricky Mukabye, Henry Enothi Kiria, and Natafali Imperia's gratuity, which caused the financial loss to government. Deborah Nama Monde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Government has given Papa Paul Sunday Emolot a go-ahead to be installed as new Emormor Papa Iteso following the rivalry of 2 parties claiming to succeed His Highness Emormor Papa Iteso, the late Augustine Osuban Lemukol, who passed away early this year. Now, according to the statement released by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the coronation ceremony is to proceed as planned on the 22nd of this month in Soroti.
The meeting that the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the Honourable Amongi Beto Ngom, convened on 19th October 2022 was therefore meant to obtain a said court order to enable her offer further guidance. However, Papa Oloch William Okol and 6 others who had notified the Honourable Minister that Soroti High Court on 18th August 2022 issued a temporary injunction stopping the coronation failed to avail the said court order. They instead requested for 1 week to avail the Honourable Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development with the said court order. In the circumstances, therefore, government is unable to stop the coronation because as government officials, government does not act in anticipation. In making the above decision, the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, the Honourable Betty Ongom, has consulted the Attorney General, and the legal advice has been provided that there is no legal impediment to the coronation of Mr. Paul Sand Emolot by Iteso Cultural Union.
Now, President Museveni has commissioned the Day Biopharma, a multi-billion vaccine manufacturing plant at Ichigogwa in Wakiso district. Now, the facility under the Day Group is expected to not only manufacture drugs and vaccines, but also make them readily available in the country.
So that is the children and Mrs.
Now everybody is saying you can now use hydrogen, because, like for instance, we have been talking of using coal for iron ore to remove oxygen from, because iron ore, ferrous oxide, ferric oxide, to remove the oxygen from the iron, and you produce water. Imagine. This is the new technology. But this boy told me this almost 30 years ago. And I handed him to people whom I know who are people whom I thought would help. They never help. So this is the story of Magora. Magora, Yaremerawo. That's why I need to salute him, salute Magora. Now, and you heard how he was being persecuted.
The Minister and the entire Health Ministry to give her remarks from that microphone. That one there, yes, thank you.
UBC News Tonight. Now, State Minister for Works and Transport Musa Echweru has ordered all encroachers on Soroti Flying School land to vacate with immediate effect. The land belonging to the East African Civil Aviation Academy, also known as Soroti Flying School, is under the Ministry of Works and Transport. The land that has been encroached is adjacent to the railway station and is estimated to be over 10 acres. While mentoring Senior 6 students of Teso College, Alouette, Minister Echweru warned encroachers on public property to vacate before the law catches up with them. The Minister, Echweru, encouraged students to join the East African Civil Aviation Academy.
They are my people, my own people from Teso, who have encroached on the land that belongs to the academy. The encroachment of the land that belongs to the academy is illegal. They must prepare to vacate the land. Because as we bring in new courses, as we bring in so many other things to expand the possibilities in that school, we will need land, we will need to expand the runway, we will need to do so many things. But some people have encroached on the land. This one we are not going to negotiate. Those who know that they are sitting on the land of the Flying Academy must be prepared to leave so that we can use that opportunity to expand our academy and bring in so many children. Because
the Minister of State for Mineral Development, Peter Teko Lokeris, says government of Uganda is in the process to develop new mining and minerals regulations to operationalize the new Mining and Minerals Act 2022. Lokeris revealed this during a regional energy dialogue on a just energy transition for East Africa, climate change, renewable energy, and the role of critical minerals in bridging the gap, the energy gap. The dialogue took place at Speak Resort, Munyonyo.
Due to climate change resulting from global warming, countries have committed to reduce carbon emissions with a target to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. It is against this backdrop that Oxfam Uganda organized a regional dialogue on just energy transition for East Africa. The State Minister for Mineral Development, Peter Lokeris, noted that government has plans to decarbonize the transport sector by blending petroleum products with biofuels and switching to electric vehicles.
We go back to go and amend the mineral bill. It is said for some time, the President referred it to Parliament. We dealt with it in Parliament, we sent it back. But I'm told 2 days ago, as if it was waiting for you, for this meeting, it has been assented to. We are in business. We want to move, transition. Why we transition is because you cannot just move like that.
For us in this sector, I think it is timely that we also raise our concern and ask the world about all the commitments that has been made. So transitioning to a low-carbon economy is key, of course, in tackling climate change and challenges as stipulated in the United Nations Development Goal 13 and the 2015 Paris Agreement. Goal 7 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals also emphasizes affordable access to modern energy. All these efforts aim at limiting the rise of global average temperatures to well below 2 degrees Celsius and ideally below 1.5 degrees.
Some of the delegates noted that the transition to green energy has created an increased demand for critical minerals needed for the production of technologies such as electric vehicles.
When it comes to issues of transparency and accountability, only 24 countries in Africa are signatories to the EITI initiative. Kenya in itself is not one of those. So how are we accountable to our people? How do we know the energy contracts or energy transition contracts? What do they look like? What are the consensus therein? What are the royalties being paid? How are we taking care of local content, skills transfer, mineral beneficiation within our countries or within the region?
All the things we are hearing of state capture, you know, the fear of
environmental degradation. The secrecy around contracts, international contracts, and so on and so forth. These are all governance issues, and they are very critical if we are to have a very progressive extractive industry.
Energy inequality is evident, with about 600 million people, sub-Saharan Africa, having no access to electricity, while economies continue to rely on petroleum and wood fuel for transport, industrial and domestic use. Several countries, including DRC, Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, hold dual ambitions of meeting their national determined contributions, while at the same time keen to develop their petroleum resources. Zahara Abigawa, UBC News.
Thank you, Zahara Abigaba. Now, the World Health Organization has declared Uganda free of Gabiense sleeping sickness. Now, the Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, explains that this means the disease is no longer a public health threat.
Sleeping sickness is a parasitic vector-borne disease carried by tsetse flies and is prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa. Fortunately, sleeping sickness can be treated. Uganda is now among the 4 countries on the African continent that have eliminated Gambia's sleeping sickness after thorough assessment by the World Health Organization.
Generally, before you can certify any disease has been eliminated, we will have been watching the pattern of your data, and we must be sure that your data is credible. And when we now look at the data in a very credible manner, we will also look at reports, program reports. What are the interventions that you will put in the dossier? Then we go through the dossier. Dossier is always very tough to prepare. It could take like 2-3 years to prepare dossier. There will be back and forth. So what do we look for in the dossier? We want to be able to see that what you claim is actually correct. That's where the independent panel will be sure that there are no cases, there are no confirmed cases over years. Usually WHO says 3 years.
Gambia's sleeping sickness is one of the neglected tropical diseases, and in Uganda, it is endemic in the districts of West Nile in northern Uganda.
And Uganda has 2 types of sleeping sickness, Gambiense and Rhodesiense. Gambiense being the chronic one and Rhodesiense being the acute one. Gambiense was majorly in the West Nile areas, and efforts were put in a multi-sectoral manner from the districts to the national level, where we had the council that coordinated the various ministries together with our international partners.
Faida Lucy from Koboko district survived the disease, and she recalls the stigma suffered at school way back in 1999.
I lost my friends. That one was one of the challenges. I even failed now to concentrate on my studies, because now if everybody is fearing you, how can you concentrate? I failed to concentrate. And it has affected my results. As I talk now, because of the poor performance I had, I'm at this level. So, my message to all of you is, you take my message to those who are not here. You take my message that sleeping sickness is curable.
The last case of Gambia's sleeping sickness was reported 2 years back, and Uganda being declared to have eliminated this disease is described as one of the major milestones in the health sector.
Eliminating Gambiense as a public health problem means that it is no longer a threat to the public. It also means that cases are no longer there, but it does not mean it cannot recur if we don't put in efforts to ensure that it does not. because we still have threats coming from South Sudan and from the DRC that still have it.
Uganda is on track for elimination of Gambia sleeping sickness by 2030.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return after these messages. Don't move an inch.
MTN joins the people of Keralur to celebrate the 12th coronation anniversary of the King of Keralur, His Royal Majesty Ubim Philip Raoni III in October. At MTN, we believe that we only succeed if the communities in which we operate succeed. And so, we're happy to join the people and well-wishers of the people of Keralur in promoting social cultural programs of the Ubim.
Walego Mugisa ni Ubimu ku Keralur.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
The Electricity Disputes Tribunal is a specialized quasi-judicial body established under Section 93 of the Electricity Act to handle all civil cause disputes relating, but not limited to, regulatory disputes, billing and licensing, tariffs, power generation, transmission and distribution issues, compensation resulting from activities in the electricity sector including civil wrongs and breaches of statutory and contractual duties and consumer-related complaints. The Electricity Disputes Tribunal is a special court and the first instance court that deals with electricity matters in the country. For more information, please contact the Electricity Disputes Tribunal at Amber House, Kampala Road, opposite Post Office, or call us on 041 23 2987.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold on much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us. Now, in more news, government has cleared the installation of the Iteso culture leader Paul Sunday Emolot as the third leader of the Iteso, and preparations are in high gear. Now, according to Soroti Resident District Commissioner Peter Pex, his office was ordered to allow the coronation after the court injunction by a rival Iteso team opposed to Emor Paul Sunday was proven null and void. Now this means Emor Paul Sunday will now become the third leader of Iteso people that live in both Uganda and the neighboring Kenya. Selection of the Iteso culture is not hereditary but rather rational among the major clans of Iteso. Take a look.
At the background is the issue in Teso Cultural Union institution headquarters. The people you see behind are people who are in the organizing committee, mobilizing for tomorrow's coronation of Papa Sande Emolot as the Emorimor Papa Iteso. There has been a lot of controversy in this exercise, and because there are two parties, they went to court, one party went to court, and the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, which is responsible for culture, decided to call this meeting, to call the two parties for a mediation in Kampala on 19th. And each party went with various documents, and having seen the documents, having explained a lot of issues surrounding this coronation, the ministry decided to consult with the Attorney General. Attorney General looked at the documents presented. There was no court order. There was no court order presented to the Attorney General to stop the coronation. And from there on, the Attorney General cleared and said there is no legal impediment to the coronation. And so the Ministry for Gender instructed my office to allow the coronation to take place. And therefore, I want to inform the general public and the other country that the coronation of Papa of Iteso, Sande Emolot, will take place tomorrow, 22nd, at the Mayor's Garden in Soroti City. I want to appeal to the general public, Soroti City, remain calm, maintain peace and security, but also appeal to all Ugandans who wish to attend the coronation. Please come and attend the coronation of the Iteso cultural leader.
And then tomorrow, after we have had Emoromor put in office, officially in front of the religious leaders and the shield bearers of the Iteso, we will then provide the Ministry of Gender with the name of the inaugurated cultural leader of the Iteso as Paul Sande Emolot or Tomeleng. That was his elderhood initiation name that was given after ascending into leadership. So that is the position here. Everything is in order. The council today sat here. There was a joint session of council and cabinet in order to receive the good news from the government of Uganda, giving us permission to continue with our activities. And council has passed a resolution to proceed with the activities, and therefore tomorrow we are having our members from all the ethnic nationality of Teso, Uganda and Kenya. We are having the Ateke people from Karamoja, we are having those from Ethiopia and the others from Kenya. We have had already the United States team of Ateke has already arrived. The people from South Africa are already here. And as you see, we are really set to have tomorrow His Highness Papa Paul Sande Emolot inaugurated as the third Emoromor.
UBC News Tonight. Now, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is to roll out the use of machine learning to automate the determination of optimal electrification strategies. Now, this was revealed during the closure of a program implemented by Sanbadai, an artificial intelligence non-profit organization in Lamour district that focused on increasing the accuracy in selections for renewable energy sites in the area.
More data. Once we have validated the use of the tool, for example, in Lamour, then it becomes easy to scale through Uganda, through Africa, for example.
We apply mini grids in places where we think extension of the grid at the immediate may not be financially viable. So the pilot we've done in Lamour was to do a proof of concept for us to understand that we have a platform that can help guide the distribution, the siting and development of these mini grids. So certainly we want to scale out this across the country. We want to use this platform to show where else we can site these mini grids and how best we develop them to be productive.
It's a place where there's already been some work with solar mini grids. It also has a diverse number of people, so you have different housing situation there, different social fabric. So it's really a good place to try a rural electrification strategy. And you can sort of drill in.
Now, the Uganda National Bureau of Standards and Advance Africa, under the Action for Livelihood Enhancement in Northern Uganda project, have launched the IEC Awareness Materials on Market Standards. The initiative is intended to consolidate stability, eradicate poverty and malnutrition for sustainable and inclusive social economic development in Northern Uganda. Take a look.
The process of developing IEC awareness materials of market standards started in October of 2020 and is in the process of being operationalized and developed from standards for code of commodities. Some of the commodities include beans, soybeans, and local poultry, among others.
I can tell you that we are soon starting a pilot project with the International Organization of Standardization to evaluate that, how many and the impact, more importantly, of the standards being used. What is the impact of using those standards? What is the economic impact of a standard? How do standards contribute to the development of the country, etc., etc. So standards being very technical documents, it's important that for them to be able to be understood, we break them down, we simplify them.
According to Director Finance and Administration at Advance Africa, Innocent Sheila, the need for support of farmers and for nutritional supplementation was part of the decision of what districts would be selected for the project.
Of course, we are targeting the farmer groups who are in those districts, and these are groups that are majorly in agriculture. And under this action, we came in to support the production, the access to markets, and of course, for nutrition purposes.
She notes the combined efforts of Advance Africa and UNBS will help ensure farmers are properly trained and ready to meet the standards of the market. The target market are the 6 districts of Nebi, Pakwach, Zombo, Agago, Amuru, and the Acholi sub-region.
We are going to do the dissemination of these standards, the IEC materials. And under the guidance of UNBS, we are going to carry out an activity training the farmers on how to use these standards. That is aimed at promotion of the standards to ensure that now the farmers will have access to markets.
A senior standards manager, Pamela Akwap, says the project took a long time to be processed due to the extensive preparation. Improved standards are expected to increase food security, improve maternal and child nutrition, in addition to enhancing household incomes through diversified food production. For UBC News, I'm Jerome Omara.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial star 165 star 77 hash or use the Momo app to register.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
And now into the world of business. The business community in Jinja City want relevant authorities to urgently rehabilitate the Jinja Pier. They made their appeal at a Central Corridor multimodal transport sensitization meeting in Jinja. The multi-stakeholder event was aimed at changing perception and encouraging more business persons to utilize the Tanzania route.
Jinja City is one of the leading business hubs in Uganda. It is connected to the regional markets by road, rail and water. It is for this reason that the Central Corridor entities are engaging with the business community in Jinja, mainly bulk exporters and importers. The objective of the sensitization meetings like this one is to enlighten them on the key developments on the route and the advantages, with an intention of encouraging them to utilize the route.
The generation which is there is a generation that doesn't have the history of what used to happen. So they think that everything was very bad about Dar es Salaam, but that was not the case. I worked both in Mombasa and I worked in Dar es Salaam. Things used to move. The message is, let's revive. There are promises both sides, more so from the President of Tanzania. When she was in Kampala, we met her, she made promises, and let us take that advantage and have a second route for both our imports and our exports.
William Okello, a board member of Uganda Shippers Council, says improving collaboration amongst port users and stakeholders from both public and private sector will improve business and iron out challenges.
So if we have all the three vessels operationalized, then we know as Jinja will actually be at a big advantage. And that's why as Jinja we want to emphasize that the road network, the road transportation is substituted by the water transportation, Dar es Salaam to Mwanza, Mwanza directly to Jinja.
According to Tanzania Ports Authority, the Central Corridor's multimodal route is efficient, has competitive cargo tariff rates, and lowers the cost of doing business.
It's no longer about the proximity. Using the multimodal way, reduce the road distance that it was a major barrier of using Dar es Salaam port, because everybody will keep thinking that in order for you to use Dar es Salaam port, you must use the road. So now we're using the multimodal system through the Central Corridor, and we're inviting the Ugandan community, the business community.
During the meeting, concerns were raised on the rundown state of Jinja Pier. The pier is a key water transport infrastructure on Lake Victoria, where vessels dock to offload and load cargo.
Because area of operation, which collect a lot of money from people, the road where I passed, it was shameful. So I'm requesting to work on road.
We want to see the talk when they are really putting in action, because we always go to the pier, but you can't find a place of convenience, and you can't even find an office of Uganda Railways Corporation at the pier.
Constructed on the banks of Lake Victoria in 1912 by the British colonial government, Jinja Pier was meant to ease freight and passenger rail services within the EAC member states of Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Jinja.
Hundreds of small and medium-sized enterprise owners have graduated after participating in the Network for Innovation and Sustainability in Agriculture and Tourism program organized by the Stanbic Business Incubator Limited. The Chief Executive Officer, Stanbic Business Incubator Limited, Tony Otoa, says young entrepreneurs need to be helped to scale up their businesses with more support to women. Sudat Kaye reports.
Stanbic Business Incubator and the Embassy of France has supported and nurtured small and medium enterprise owners, preparing them for business growth opportunities. The Chief Executive Officer, Stanbic Business Incubator Limited, Tony Otwa, says young entrepreneurs have been prepared for design thinking and business modeling, financial literacy, among others.
Continues with business support services, which we shall be offering to them. And you know how expensive business services are. Very expensive. But here we are offering to provide that for as long as the businesses are alive. And that is our plan, to make them alive. That's number one. Number two, we have office space. So again, for them to be able to operate efficiently in a great manner, we want to create that opportunity for them through that office space so they can work efficiently. But beyond that, we want them also to be pinnacles of support to other businesses that will be coming, or ambassadors, our ambassadors to other businesses that might need our support. Go out and get them in here and we can support them better.
Stanbic Business Incubator awarded certificates in enterprise development to enterprise owners following their training. Mr. Otwa said Stanbic Business Incubator has improved productivity and revenue gains for the small and medium enterprise owners that have successfully completed their training.
We have done this for the last 1 year and a half, and of course it ends in March, but this for us is just the beginning of what can actually be a great story.
The manager programs at Stanbic Business Incubator Limited, Joel Bamwise, said a series of capacity building initiatives have been held.
Instead of teaching them about the law, we helped them to register their businesses, and now over 30 businesses again have been registered. Now, we keep on talking about access to finance and capital for businesses. What we did is we gave them the skills of how to pitch for their businesses. Internally, we could only raise over 100 million Uganda shillings, which was distributed among close to 25 entrepreneurs. But then we gave them the tools, and 5 of these entrepreneurs have gained grant capital, each of over $20,000 US.
The graduates of Stanbic Business Incubator entailed a wide range of small and medium enterprises in various sectors of tourism and agriculture.
Through the pitching competitions, my company won. Yes, and we have installed an irrigation system that is able to fully, annually, all year round, grow 2,500 hot pepper plants.
Uganda has been ranked as a top entrepreneurial country in the world with over 160,000 small and medium enterprises that account for 90% of the entire private sector. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
And now into the world of sports. Uganda is set to host the 2022 Rugby Africa Women's Cup Pool B qualifiers from the 25th of October to the 2nd of November 2022 at Wankulukoko Stadium. Uganda is with Kenya and Zambia in Pool B, and the Lady Rugby Cranes will take on Zambia on the 25th of October before they face neighbours Kenya on the 2nd of November. Now, this is the first phase of Women's World Cup qualifiers, and the winners of the Rugby Africa Women's Cup 2022 Pool B will qualify for the Rugby Africa Women's Cup First Division in 2023.
We've got good ball carriers. I think we've worked upon that. Kenya's got good runners. I think we've worked on our strength and conditioning. We want to dominate every collusion, every contest opportunity on that pitch, and I think we're prepared enough for the girls to take on that. Looking at the new girls, 8 of them, very good and energetic young girls. We're very pleased with their progress and how they've moved into the team. We're looking forward to see them play, and all we can do is cup them, give them the opportunity, and see how they're growing into the team.
Apart from being a sports spectacle, the World Cup event is an economic hub, bringing millions of dollars to the host nations and partners alike. As it has been in the past tournaments, this year's World Cup is estimated to add up to $17 billion to the Qatari economy. We have more in this report.
According to reports of the organizers of the Russia 2018 World Cup, the country gained $14 billion to its economy. This is no different from the Qatar 2022 World Cup, where the country is estimated to gain about $17 billion from ticket sales, hotel businesses, airlines, endorsements, advertisements, among others. On the employment part, approximately 1 million workers have been employed in construction, while another 100,000 are domestic workers. The estimated number of hotel rooms in Qatar for 2022 is 13,300, with 80% of that supply expected to fall within the 4 to 5 star hotel category. Qatar expects to reap over $40 billion from the hotel business alone. Even though Qatar is strictly a Muslim country, the beer business is also set to benefit from the worldwide event. Beer is being permitted to be sold in the country in luxury hotels and a few designated zones. Since 2010, 7 new stadiums, an airport, roads, public transport systems, including metros, and a new city have been built to an estimated tune of $130 billion.
All right, now before we sign out tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. In the headlines, government gives Papa Paul Sunday Molota go-ahead to be installed as the new Emoremore Papa Iteso. 6 officials charged with causing over 300 million shillings financial loss to government. Court sentenced the one Nalwada Amina to 1 year in prison over examination malpractice. And in sports, Qatar estimated to earn 17 billion from the 2022 World Cup. I would like to thank you so much for your company this evening, but do join me at 10 o'clock for our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. We'll see you at 10.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
In the year 2020, the world was brought to standstill because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We lost friends, we lost relatives, we lost workmates during that very, very trying time. And we decided that we could remember them by establishing what we call the Remember Me book. We also appeal all Ugandans to plant a tree. We are aiming at 1 million trees in memory of those who departed from us.
We call upon individuals and institutions that lost any loved one to join us by donating and dedicating 1,000 trees at 1 million Ugandan shillings or more. To donate, trees call 0700-513-660. This message is brought to you by My Tree Initiative.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned in to UBC TV. We thank you so much for keeping it with us. My name is Michael